people can you say you trust with your life? I can name a few that no matter the circumstances, I would leave my children with. What if you knew this person took a life? Well, I'm here to tell you that some of those people are the most responsible, giving, trustworthy men I've ever met. Wayne Snitsky, Rusty Tarbett, Dave Butler, Dave Dahl, Marty Crago, and Coop are just a few that I can name. Are there others on my list? Absolutely. Yet these are the men that I trust my life with. The life of my children, no matter the case. And do you know what? They're all doing life. See, the uniqueness of trust is that it takes a lifetime to maintain. Yet in a split second, can be lost forever. I stand here today, a man that did not understand this, the importance, the dynamics of trust for over 24 years of my life. I grew up in a very volatile environment that was not conducive for healthy relationships or building trust. This environment caused me to grow up to be a warrior. Someone that only acted on one emotion, my anger. My first memory that I can recall is when I was 4 years old. My stepfather, who's an abusive, condescending drunk, was my primary caregiver when my mother was at work. One night, when he was passed out drunk on the couch and my mother was at work, I was waiting up, watching TV, waiting for her to come home. Like most kids at that age, I was scared of the dark. I couldn't go back the hallway to turn on the light switch to get to the bathroom. I held it as long as I could, but eventually I went to the bathroom in my pants. When he woke up from the smell, I knew I was in trouble. He beat me all the way from the living room back to the bathroom. And when he placed me in a shower, bleeding and already bruised up, the only thing I can remember is the words he had told me. "You're so stupid. What are you, a retard? How dumb are you?" See, these things caused me to become very angry. And that anger was a secondary emotion to the treatment that I received. The reason why I say anger is a secondary emotion is because it was caused from the hurt and the sorrow of the treatment I received. Instead of talking about this, I lashed out. It began spilling over in school and the community that we lived in. I also struggled with law enforcement, authority figures, and teachers most of my life. See, it wasn't because I couldn't follow the rules or laws, because my mother did the best she could to raise us up right. It was because as a youngster, I was told that the police were there to put the bad guys away and protect the good people. If that was the case, tell me why my stepfather was allowed to beat the hell out of me for most of my life and not go to jail. And why my mother had to sit at the kitchen table and cry because he drank away the electric bill. My mother didn't know this, but many nights I stayed awake listening to her cries. I love my mother, and she passed away from cancer in 2007. It was a very tough time for me. Yet my trust in God and the relationships that I had fostered while I was here at Marion helped me through that time. My mother was one of the only people that I had trusted, and I knew that she had sacrificed all she could in order for us to make it. When I was 14 years old, my mother had broken her neck in a car accident. There was very little support that we had had, and she was the only income coming into the family. At a time like this, we should have been able to trust in our extended family, our community, to back us up. Nobody was there. It was another 4 months until my mom was able to actually work again. And when she became healthy enough to work, she gave me an ultimatum. Quit doing the illegal things you were doing to help pay the bills, or move out. So at 15, I moved out and got my first apartment. and lived a life that no one at that age should have to. All of these events destroyed any fiber of trust that I should have had. Because see, all the people that I was supposed to trust in had burned me my entire life. More importantly, I couldn't trust myself. My life was a giant lie most days. The friends I had, or so they say they were, only knew the side of me that was violent, chaotic, and extremely unpredictable. The reality of it was, though, I was just a poor kid that was broken inside. My angry outbursts, all they were was a cry of my inward pain and heartache. I've been home now less than 24 months, and I hit the ground running. My life now is dedicated to helping anyone that I can come in contact with. I have a beautiful life and a beautiful family. That includes my wife, 3 stepgirls, 2 sons from a previous relationship, and my newborn son. I know, the Brady Bunch, right? On top of all of them, I work a full-time job. I run a martial arts academy 5 days a week, and also go to school for a bachelor program in web design and programming. I think I can maybe fit a few more things in yet. I just haven't found them. But to establish trust in anyone's life becomes more difficult as the years go on. See, when a child is born, they are innocent, and all they know is what they're taught and what they see. It is so important for us to continue to foster healthy relationships and build bonds of trust with those children. If we don't maintain those bridges, they'll shatter. But it's also important to rebuild those bridges that have been broken down. I recognize that I am very blessed to have the brain that I have. And at 14, I made a choice to use that in a negative manner. However, for the last 7 years of my life, I've dedicated not only to the progression of my life, but to others. While I was incarcerated, right here at Marion, I had an opportunity to be involved in many programs. One of those programs was called HOPE, which stands for Helping Ourselves Pursue Excellence. Najmuddin Abdul Salam, the curator of the program, had asked me to help at the inception of it. Now, even though I had been working on a lot of my own issues and creating self-improvement, HOPE gave me the platform to demonstrate those skills. Most importantly, the rebuilding of trust begins with self. If you're not able to look inside yourself and visit those demons that you have and heal those wounds, it's going to be very difficult, nearly impossible to help anyone else. And the reason why is because they will continually come up and be a crutch for you when you're trying to assist somebody else. The problem with most people gaining the trust of others, especially our youth of this world, is they don't know how to be transparent. You got to keep it real. Be honest. Pull no punches when you're working with somebody who's wounded. Like I said to you before, anger is a secondary emotion. And until you deal with the issue at hand, the anger is going to persist. Another key to demonstrating and rebuilding trust is that you have to show others that you're vulnerable. Being vulnerable means that you'll put yourself out there. And by putting yourself out there, they know they have somebody to support them. Because nobody wants to go at this alone. And nobody should have to. Today I have an opportunity to work with the youth in many different facets, whether it's speaking at a school, a church, or another community function. Yet my greatest contribution is through my martial arts academy. There I teach Taekwondo, Judo, and self-defense techniques. My students range from about age 5 all the way up to 45. I don't make much money at it, yet my profit comes from the improvement I see in the lives of my students. Who knows? I may be the only voice of confidence that they ever hear. I may be the only person that can ever impact them in a positive way. And I take that responsibility to heart. Do you know why the youth of today have such a difficult time trusting you? Look in the mirror and ask yourself one question. Are you being transparent? Are you dealing with your scars, your heartaches, and the trials you've been through? Because if you don't, they'll see right through you. The reason why I'm able to connect is because they can see in my eyes I've been there. I got the scars to prove it, and I got the stories to back it up. Life will give you opportunities to capture the moments of change and move forward from your past. But you have to do three things. You have to be honest, you have to be real, and above all else, swallow your pride. Let life teach you what you missed at such a young age. Because it's very difficult to walk down the path of change with someone if you're not familiar with the landscape. I want to leave you guys with this. In a lasting relationship, it's not 50-50. It takes 100% from each person to build trust that allows them to grow and develop, not only as an individual, but also as a community. So today, I want to challenge you. Let me step in. Let me be that missing link between society and the incarcerated. The link between the ones that are hurting and the ones that want to help heal. The link that represents my experience and my passion and your willingness to trust. Let me and let them. Thank you.